everybody, welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
me, Banshee, and Bly is here.
Bly makes three.
Bly makes three. And why Bly? Because it's the Unhappy Hour show where, we know you are going through some stuff. Bly knows it too. And that's why Bly is here to say the future...
Where does it hurt?
The future looks bright. It may hurt now, but we'll try to get you through it. What do you say?
I say, sure. And on the eve that we are doing this, there's a little bit of thunder rolling in the background.
Oh, did you hear that? Yeah,
I heard it. So that will just add to the
ambiance.
Discontent.
It was raining ever so lightly out there a little while ago, and there was no sign of thunder, so I'm kind of surprised by that. We aren't expecting anything major tonight.
So our Unhappy Hour has a couple caveats. One is that all cards are read reversed. Just as in our happy hour, all cards are read upright. And we find a way to make every card a happy card. With this, we're going to look at the actual truth of the matter.
The truth of the matter, but that final card, even in reversed, has a kernel of how you can turn that frown upside down. All right.
It's a theory and it's a practice. So here we go. And we do this for the elemental signs of the Zodiac, plus we throw in a special reading for the world at large. Where does it hurt? World.
But also I wanted to say that this reading is good for the entire moon cycle from fourth quarter moon, which is right now, to the next fourth quarter moon. All right. So we're starting with
air signs.
Yes.
Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius.
And Aquarius, this reading's for you. All right. Air signs. Yes, pop up the old reading template there. All right.
Card one.
I didn't cut. You're supposed to pick up my cut.
Oh.
Don't get ahead of yourself now. Excuse me, I got something. Okay.
What is or will be making us unhappy right now?
Air signs. It's the Hanged Man reversed. It seems like I'm going to take a stab at this here, and I want to see what the other cards will say, but it seems as though what might be making air signs unhappy is the fact that they may have to sacrifice something. Do you hear that, air signs? Do you hear that, thunder? You may have to sacrifice some things, or you might have to, be a little bit more conscientious of other people than perhaps you're willing to do at this point in time. And it's kind of making you very unhappy. Now, on one level, that might sound a little bit selfish of you or self-serving of you, but let's see how the other cards play out. I don't want to be judgy here.
I'll just throw this to the idea, too, that what is making you unhappy could just be the thoughts itself of having to sacrifice when you don't really want to. And so some of this is your attitude, because maybe you're really trying to falsely equivalate what is equal to something else, and maybe try to find a rationalization for not having to give up. So it could be fraught with a lot of inner turmoil.
Indeed, indeed.
All right, I know I was a little weird there, but...
No, it's fine. So, what's the next card, Mr. O?
Card 2. How are we dealing, or will be dealing, with this unhappiness? Well, it's the sun reversed, and you know, the sun reversed is supposedly never a negative card, but in context to our reading, we'll have to say that this does absolutely diminish your sunshine. You are not walking on sunshine, whoa, whoa. You are probably sliding through barely.
Well, how you are dealing with this is feeling disappointed. You know, the sun is not shining as brightly as you hoped it would for you. Personally, when I see the sun reversed, I think, hey, that is not the end of the world here, air signs, but you feel it is. You feel it is.
So you will be enacting in that way.
And you're acting in that way. You don't want to diminish something. What you feel would make you more successful.
This card should be revealing because then it tells us why are your feelings justified. So it does assume that, or does it? And of course, it is the Three of Swords reversed.
Oh.
So maybe your feelings are justified because you feel you need to heal. You need to heal yourself. You need to get over whatever this is that is actually breaking your heart. It actually sounds a little bit dramatic.
It does sound like drama a little bit to me, but you know what? You feel these feelings are justified because having to give up what you have to give up, you feel, or you're being asked to give up, you feel is going to hurt you in some way. And so you're feeling bitter about it, and you really want to get it back to feel whole again. But you know, sometimes we can't get that back.
So how will you turn that frown upside down?
By going it alone, maybe? Is that the Two of Cups?
It's the Two of Cups reversed. And it's kind of interesting because there is a play between those cards there. You almost wonder if maybe something about this is, you know, your relationships with people.
Oh, no.
What is it?
I feel like the only way you're going to be able to turn that frown upside down, now remember, it is a negative card, the Two of Cups reversed, talks about separation, loss, whatever, but I think what this is saying in this position, since about how to turn the frown upside down, is that you have to let go of this with love. You have to accept it. You have to accept this separation, this parting, and let it go with love.
So let's recap.
Now, it could be a relationship. We'll get into this a little more now that we're recapping. Because I feel here, when I look at the Hanged Man and I spoke in terms of sacrifice, you know, it could be that you have to sacrifice and let go of a relationship. A partner may want out. A partner just has made that decision, and they have the right to make the decision. You know, and you can't hold on to things like that. It could be a job. It could be a job you cherish that suddenly they're making cutbacks. They are buying people out. They're asking you to leave, maybe politely, but you don't want to sacrifice what you've built up there.
It's very interesting. I think it truly is a lot of the inner turmoil about what you can or can't do in this situation, what you feel you can live without, you know, and a famous advice columnist always said, you have to ask yourself, can you live with this or can you not? And so that's maybe what is really hurting you, is you don't know how to make this decision, or you just don't really want to make it.
So it makes you feel less than, you know, who you are or what you had. It makes you feel diminished in some way, that your success, that your perfect life is diminished, and you're disappointed, you're upset, you know. So clearly you might be doing a little bit of acting out here.
Well, another thing you could be doing...
That's how you're dealing with it.
Another thing you could be doing in the sense of dealing is just trying to hide in the shadows. You know,
yes.
The sun reverse is just sort of not be as present, not as noticeable. You are avoiding. You're
avoiding the situation. And are your feelings why are your feelings justified? Well, you feel they're justified. I'm going to say this because you feel, you know, you would only feel whole again if you didn't have to make this sacrifice. You feel less without it. You feel like something has been lost and you're grieving it, and you want to recover, and you feel the only way you can recover is by getting back to where you were.
Your feelings are justified also in a sense because you feel that you have to go through this to really understand what it is to erase that or to repair that or to heal that. And so it's really a recovery motion for you to analyze your feelings at that level and say, yes, you know, but I am getting better.
So how do you turn that frown upside down? Is understand when something's over, it's over, and you can recover from this. You know, whether it's a relationship loss, whatever the case may be, you know, you could try to at least still be friends, still be, you know, caring about each other, but you have to let it go with love. If it's a job, if it's something else, you have to let it go. At some point, you know, you may have to give up the fight. We do have to fight for our rights from time to time, depending on what the situation entails. But, you know, in your mind and heart, you have to realize that you can get past this. So good luck with that, air signs. That's a little bit tough. And it's interesting because I almost feel like maybe you're making a little bit, but that sun reversed here. I'm just thinking that maybe you're making a little bit more of the situation than it is, and that it may not be as bad as it seems. Oh, well, you hold that for me, but it's actually your shuffle first, Mr. O.
Oh.
And it's for the fire signs. Me. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius.
But Mr. O has had a long day, and we're in the middle of summer
We're
reading
in terrible
programs at the
danger.
library.
No.
So much.
I know, it's all the thunder out there. You know, it looks kind of lighter out there now, so I wonder if it's either, yeah, is there a sun out there coming through? Well, maybe there's a rainbow out there I'm missing, doggone it, and that would be a great sign for our unhappy hour. Just let's imagine there's a rainbow now.
Okay, so this is for the fire signs.
Fire signs, here we go. What's making
Aries,
us
Leo, and Sagittarius.
What's making us unhappy? And mysteriously enough, I thought Mr. O shuffled well. We have the Three of Swords reversed. What's making you unhappy is, you know, I think this is a card of healing when it's reversed. I think what's making you unhappy possibly is how long it's taking you to get over something. You know, fire signs, we're always in a hurry, but you can't rush grief. You know, you can't rush the process. You need to feel the feels. You need to take the time to process those feels before you can move on. And I'm thinking this card is in this position because, you know, either you're feeling it's taking too long, you want to get it over with, you're trying to circumnavigate the pain, and that is just not going to work for you. That's going to make you even more unhappy.
It is about process in this case, and you can't necessarily hurry love or hurry grief, as any popular song or whatever may say. This really is about taking the time you need to come to terms with everything that you've been trying to do, and that some griefs may not heal ever. There may always be a bit of a sacred wound left behind.
And it's maybe a situation where you're just in denial about the need for healing here too. So get with the program and understand that, you know, even if it seems like, oh, it's just a minor loss, oh, I just don't need to think about it anymore. But you are. All right.
So how will you be dealing with this, or how are you dealing with it?
Ah, that's funny.
And it's the Emperor reversed.
There it is. Well, see, because you're in denial or you're just not processing things and going through it, you're losing touch, you're losing control. You know, you're letting things kind of get into kind of a chaos. So your life is being mismanaged right now. Maybe there's things you should be doing that you're not. Maybe you're feeling non-motivated, uninspired to be, you know, carrying on with your day-to-day routine.
Whatever this process, as I said before, is that you're going through, it's significant to the point where you can't really turf off control or turf off certain responsibilities. And if you have been, if that's what you've been trying to do to, you know, make you have less to be a responsibility, it's probably not going to work, because you're going to lose other aspects too, and you probably will lose parts of yourself that you really need to be present in this moment where you are working on this specific kind of healing you need to go through.
You need to lead yourself through this process, and you're not doing it. All right.
Card 3. Why are these feelings justified, or are they?
Oh, it's the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is, of course, reversed. Well, why are your feelings justified? Because and this is really interesting. It kind of goes back to the first thing I said in the beginning, that you're trying to rush through this process. You feel like, like for example, if this is about a relationship, what this reminds me of here? This reminds me of a rebound. You want to get out there and, for example, if it's a relationship that fell apart, you want to meet new people right away and get in another relationship. Sometimes people rush and they buy a pet when they've lost a pet. And I mean, sometimes they're in the right mindset to do it, but others, it's just they're trying to fill that void and they really need to process their grief more. And so this is because you maybe want to go on to other opportunities that are out there now and not dwell on it.
Well, I think this could also be another sign of the denial that's still going on, that your feelings are justified because maybe somehow you believe things will return to what they were, that someone will come back to you, or that feelings will re-emerge or re-engage with each other. And so your feelings that you're doing these things this way is because you sort of feel or expect that maybe it will all blow away and return back to what it was.
Gosh, it almost sounds like the other reading in some ways, but there are some key differences. But yes, that's definitely an aspect of that card as well. So see what resonates with you, fire signs.
Right, it could be a little bit of that or that.
And meanwhile, how do we turn that frown upside down? Okay, well, it's the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is reversed. Well, that's interesting here. I think that number one, you got to stop being too hard on yourself and pushing yourself to get through this. Alleviate the stress you're putting on yourself by trying to work your way around the grieving process, okay? There's some stress and some burdens that you are still carrying, and in order to lighten that load, you have to process and deal with them.
Right. I think right from the beginning we were seeing this as a process situation where certain feelings or situations had to be dealt with, maybe in order or in some sense of completing them. So what we see with the final card is what that really is that you need to work through all those steps. And you don't just grab 10 sticks at once. You grab them one at a time. So that's what this is saying really, is that when you're going to unburden yourself, you do it one at a time. You remove what you need or can at that time, and then you work on the next stage. It's stages.
Very tight reading here. Let's look at it again for the fire signs, shall we?
Sure.
So starting with that first card, which is what is making you unhappy right now, it's processing grief. It's processing pain. It's not easy task. Some people, that's why a lot of people, put barriers up and blocks, and they close their heart and they close themselves off to their pain. But you have to go through the process, but it is not making you very
And you know what, fire signs? You're almost a poster case for somebody who just wants to rush through some things and immediately feel done. It's in my bucket list. I'm on.
Shiny, sparkly things. Give them to me.
But this really is speaking to the fire signs and saying that you can't hurry grief. I keep thinking of the Supreme song, you can't hurry love. You can't hurry resolving pain.
All right. So then, how are you dealing with this, or will be dealing with this? Well, the more you put these blocks and these barriers up, the less control you're going to have in your life. Things start cascading out of control. You start losing your motivation. You start wondering why you don't feel up for anything, and it's because you really, or you're putting yourself out there and doing all this mindless activity and letting the important parts of your life, flounder.
Fire signs, it may be that this is a part of the denial part of it, is that you're just either putting more on your plate so that you can't help but handle everything, maybe not quite in the standard way, or you're just somehow not really trying to find the valid motivation to address these things. You're letting your abilities to control things slip or to fumble in certain ways.
Well, and why are your feelings justified? My personal feeling was that I think that they're justified because you yourself have convinced yourself you can just move right on into the next without having to give this pain another thought. But you know what? That's not true.
Corollary to that is maybe the idea that you think or expect something to return or to resolve and go back to the way it was. But that's not true.
And ultimately, how you turn that frown upside down is to once and for all start working through the burden of the pain, the burden of the grief,
Yes.
the burden of the loss, whatever type of loss this is, business, career, a family member, a pet, a relationship, and work through it and alleviate that, go step by step and start lightening that burden.
Right. All along I think that this showed that there was a process that you need to kind of stick with in order to get some results. And Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome won't be unbuilt in a day either.
Yeah. Wow. Good luck with that, fire signs, and me. All right.
So on to the water signs.
Oh, it's my deal. You can hold play. Water signs. Who are they?
Water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces.
Mr. Scorpio. Let's see what we have.
And we might be the poster child for unhappy because we tend to wear our emotions pretty readily. Scorpios can hide some of them, but they're not always good with maybe their most bitter emotions. Let's have a bitter hour.
No.
And it's just about
Let's
Scorpios.
not. I guess that's going to be your one-man show. There you go.
Oh, yes, you heard it here first.
I'm going to shuffle two more times. I want to make sure we get that good show.
Overon presents The Bitter Batter Biter.
Build bitter better. No one can do it like a Scorpio.
Oi.
All right, Mr. O.
Right,
Let's see what we've
water
got.
signs. What is or will be making you unhappy? Oh, it looks like you didn't get invited to the party.
Oh.
It looks like maybe somehow you are feeling left out of something. Maybe you are feeling like, what is your normal circle of closeness or friends? Maybe something's not clicking there for some reason.
Where are people when you need them, right? It's not, and also, right, maybe you feel left out. Maybe, gatherings have happened that you haven't been invited to, and you're wondering why. That could very well be in your interpersonal life. Also, in your interpersonal life, maybe you have issues and, you've been down on your luck and you've been there for others, and where are they when you are hurting or you need support? It feels like your support network has left you feeling very blue.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. So, Card 2, how are we or will we be dealing with this unhappiness? Uh-oh, it's the Lovers reversed.
As usual.
Yeah. Well,
making bad choices.
we may make bad choices, and especially in the realms of this emotional feel thing, I think there's definite connection here. We may feel, or jump to conclusions about, somebody's, connection to us.
Be careful of the decisions you make. I mean, I feel here that what you are doing, how you'll be dealing with this is you might, act out of this place of isolation, or this place of feeling left out, and with nobody to support you. You may make some bad choices here. Maybe there are some reasons that people aren't able to help you or be there for you at this time that you don't know about. So be careful and not jump the gun and do something or say something that you might regret.
Card 3, why are your feelings justified? Or are they in fact justified?
Ah,
And it's the reversed 4 of Wands.
well, I could take this two ways here. The Four of Wands reversed is not really a super negative card, so I want to couch this a little bit, but I do think that the Four of Wands reversed could indicate that, what is the position again? Oh, why are our feelings justified? That you feel your feelings are justified because maybe the people you thought were solid in your life aren't feeling that solid to you anymore. Maybe the people you've always been there for and you thought had your back, or would be, inviting you to things and not be suddenly closing you out of their social circle, were solider than this.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I think there's a definite connection between that first and third card. The Three of Cups looks like a party that you didn't get invited to. The Four of Wands reversed maybe is the continuance of that maybe it's the realization that there was a deliberate or an actual attempt to not invite you. And that's why your feelings are justified, is because you realize that you were snubbed or not invited for some reason. Chances are it could have been maybe a good reason, but you found this out, or you will find this out.
Two good examples, like at work, for example, you weren't put in a team that you were hoping to get, invited on because of your skills or expertise in an area. They chose someone else. But also, let's look at the party aspect, like Mr. O said. Were you expecting to be best man or bridesmaid at a wedding, and they chose others in the party? There could be other reasons that had to happen. Maybe pressures from family to have somebody else in that role, from the family. So I think here, be careful, depending on what situation this is talking about in your life, to rush too soon to snap decisions about, eliminating people.
It sure sounds like a petulant Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces.
Well,
overreacting.
It could be. So let's see how you can turn this frown upside down. Wow.
The Nine of Pentacles. Part of this maybe is you have to.
I can't wait to.
You have to kind of allow for a little bit of discomfort. You may have to broach the question or actually confront the issue on some level and approach an uncomfortable fact.
Well, maybe that is true. I think that could fit into what I'm saying here, because I'm looking at this card, and again, it kind of reminds me of the Four of Wands here, in that, well, it's negative, but it doesn't have to be that negative. And so what I'm thinking here, how you can turn that frown upside down, is recognizing the fact that this doesn't make you any less for not being invited, and that maybe there was no intention to slight you after all. But, so in other words, don't feel less or that you are at a loss because this happened, because you still, you're still okay with this group. I think you're still okay with them in the long term.
Well, let's tie this up and hopefully, give you better advice than, just bailing on these people.
Well, and I don't think you need to bail on these people. So let's look at that. Yeah, that looks kind of disillusioning. You feel that people, you have let you down in some way, that they have cast you to the sidelines. They're not staying in touch with you, or they're not inviting you to events and things. You feel like you're being ostracized or isolated from a community of friends, or that they are not supporting you when you need them.
Right, you're not a part of the overall picture. You're just something that shows up occasionally.
And how are you dealing with the situation? Well, you could make some bad maneuvers or snap decisions or choices that you might regret later. Think, try to be, even if you are justified that they did something to you deliberately, try to rise above that. Don't treat a bad situation with even worse decisions or behavior.
You're likely to come to the wrong conclusion or push it into the wrong area.
And so, are these feelings justified? Maybe, but I really feel they're not the end of the world for you. I feel here that maybe you just have determined that, some of the people you can't count on as much as you thought. They aren't as solid as you thought. So yes, you could maybe go out and increase your social circle. If it's a work situation, you can just get back to doing, the good job that you do and prove everybody that, hey, they missed out on a valuable team member that could have helped them.
Like Banshee says, that's not the end of the world, but I think that it will say, you will somehow get a confirmation of some sort that maybe the slight you felt did happen. Maybe not exactly the way you thought it was, but it just will confirm to you that, your feelings were right. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to do better.
So how do you turn that frown upside down? By recognizing that this is really of limited value to you, that ultimately you're better than this. This is not going to knock you off your feet. You still have everything in place to succeed. Maybe you just wanted this little extra something, but you can do without it. Just recognizing that life goes on and there'll be other opportunities.
All right.
Good luck.
So now we move on to
the water
signs.
Oh, the earth signs. Whoopsie.
And earth signs are Taurus, Virgo,
and Capricorn.
I think it's you, right?
No, you shuffled. I shuffled this last time. I did. You cut. You picked up my cut. Where does it hurt? You're about to find out, earth signs. I'll take Bly. So a momentary thunder shower and it's over already. Thank goodness.
Earth signs, what is or will be making you unhappy now?
Well, it's the Page of Wands reversed. Well, earth signs, it looks as though something you were hoping to get off the ground or some good news that you were waiting for is not coming through. There's a delay or possibly even just a rejection. It's not happening.
It's probably important enough to you because it may be the beginning of a new enterprise. It may be related to a job you might be trying to get or some activity or project that you were really hoping to engage with.
Right. This was something you had high hopes for and you were very enthusiastic about. And now that enthusiasm has been, how should I say, dampened. Dashed and dampened. So, okay, why?
How will you be dealing
with this? Well,
uh-oh.
It's temperance.
You're breaking glasses. throwing those glasses.
Have you heard of those rage rooms? Maybe you want to go to one and just let it all out constructively. I would just say here that you may be going through some serious, some emotional imbalances. Definitely, just it's throwing you off your game, and it could be affecting you physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually.
A lot of times, a generality about earth signs is that they tend to not show their emotions well,
It's true.
obviously, and they tend to hold them well. So this may be something disturbing because you may not be dealing with it very well. You may want to hurl the glass into the fireplace or whatever the drama is. But clearly, it's a sign really that there's something emotionally not quite aligned for you with this situation. You really have a lot of bad feelings about it.
You do. So, why are your feelings justified? Oh, speaking of imbalance, it's justice reversed.
So a picture becomes maybe a little clearer. You feel that something wrong happened. You feel you were not treated fairly, a lie happened, or you felt you shouldn't have been picked over for the job or the situation, any number of things.
Yeah, unjust treatment, unfairness, a not equal situation is behind this. So yes, that's why your feelings are justified. You feel that this was really an imbalanced decision that was made.
It's interesting too because of course we have that.
Well, that's why I was...
Temperance. Yes, I know. I'm just jumping ahead.
Speaking of balance. But let's stop and think about this, Mr. O. Well, actually, I almost want to save it for the recap. Let me save it for the recap. Okay.
So how will we turn that frown upside down?
Earth signs.
Oh.
See, the cups, Ace of Cups reversed. Wow, spin it, Mr. O. No, I got to throw you to the lions.
Well, it could be saying, too, that we have to have that understanding that sometimes things that we expect to make us happy may take longer or may not. It may be that we just have to accept what is going to make us unhappy here.
Well, number one, we may have to accept what happened here. Just this idea that you have to walk away from the situation feeling unfulfilled or that it is unresolved to your satisfaction. Or this is just saying that, you're going to have to find a way to balance your emotions. It's the only way you're going to get through this. Find ways to calm down. Try to either do things that encourage growth elsewhere or do some things to pick up your spirits. Do some things that will make you feel more self-confident once more and not feeling so down in the dumps. That's sort of what I feel there. But let's take a look at this because I'm seeing something here that I want to bring up. So, okay, Earth signs, what is making you unhappy right now? Some news that you receive and it could be about a project or something that's unsuccessful, or could it be about a legal matter that did not turn out to your benefit? Whether you were right, whether you were wrong, you were hoping for a certain desired outcome here. And apparently, it has not gone in your favor. Either justice has been served because you deserve it, or, there may be just unfairness. An unfair decision that was handed down is not in your favor. And it's making you very unhappy.
Right. The overall thing does tell kind of, a pretty tight story, and it's the feeling that whatever you did expect but did not receive makes you feel really like throwing the cups off the table. You're a cat, I don't know.
So just to throw a few more examples out there, did you lose some type of competition and you think the judging was biased? Did you lose a job interview and you feel they did not really address your skills fairly? Did you feel...
A contest of some sort?
Right.
A test
of
some sort?
Or is it actually an actual legal situation that did not turn out in your favor? A test result at school. Being judged by your teacher for a project. All right. So these are some of the examples we're talking about. And why, how are you dealing with it? Well, I think you're just allowing it to totally imbalance you in some way. You're teetering on the edge here, either mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and you're worn out, you're weary, and you're stressed.
Another metaphor for unbalanced waters could just be choppy waters, you know, just waters that won't settle. They're agitated. That's the way you feel, maybe.
And why are your feelings justified? Because you feel that this has been very unfair, that you didn't deserve this, or if perhaps you did get a sentence for a crime, you were hoping for something far less. Or a fine of some sort. You were hoping you were able to talk a traffic judge, for example, down on a fine, and, it just didn't happen.
Well, justified and justice come from the same root word, so this is really a fait accompli that you're going to feel this way with this position here.
How do you turn your frown upside down? Is that maybe you have to accept that this just wasn't meant to be. You have to accept that, this was, the cup was not going to get full. The cup had leaks in it. And, you have to find your fulfillment. You have to seek your fulfillment elsewhere. And also that you have to find a way to deal with the emotional fallout of this. If you need counseling or advice, because that's not what we do, but if you need counseling or advice from someone, please get
seek it. Right. And I can't say anything more than that, so I think we're just wrapping it up for the earth signs.
And we're onto the world. I think we should both shuffle for the world, don't you?
Uh-huh.
I'll let you shuffle and cut.
Oh, what a world, what a world.
Well, there's so much scary stuff going on right now. Talks of World War III, Supreme Court decisions in the U.S. that are hanging things in the balance. Just the Gaza thing that's ongoing and horrifying. Riots in Kenya that turned violent with police over high taxes that people can't afford. I just heard today also about an uprising. There was an attempted overthrow of the government in Bolivia. So there's plenty of turmoil and all the weather crises that are going on now, not just in the U.S., but worldwide. People dying at the Hajj for their retreat, in Islam, you name it. The floods in the Midwest, fires places, too hot of temperatures. Woo! Whew. It just hurts telling you all that. All right. Let's see if we can find a focus, though, for our present pain. Okay, world, where does it hurt?
Everywhere.
Look at that. It's
universal.
Star
it's everywhere.
Reversed. And, well, it is. There's a lot of pessimism right now. That's what's hurting. We're all feeling very doom and gloomy. And, to me, it seems like we should be better than this. We should be able to rise above this and work through our pessimism to seek solutions. But instead, we seem to be wallowing in, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about this. Oh, well, there's nothing I can do about that.
Obviously, we can't say the entire world feels this way, but much of the world feels that the star reversed, a lack of hope, a lack of seeing a destiny or a future. It's overwhelming.
This could be about climate. This could be about the Palestinians who have very little to go back to anymore if this crisis ever stops. And, the people that have to rebuild their lives and livelihoods in the Midwest, farmers, etc. This is just difficult times.
All right. So, Cartoon, how are we dealing? How is the world dealing with this unhappiness? Well, the world may be feeling that there's an illusion somehow that they need to burst free of, or that maybe some of us are bursting free of. The whole idea about becoming woke. So the world may be feeling that they have to find ways to release themselves from what imprisons them, whether it is our own, illusions or fears, or whether we do feel there are things that are holding us back, holding us down.
Yeah, it's a toughie in this position now that I think about it. I think it's interesting because I do feel we can do something about this. I think there are some people that may be trying to resolve in good faith some of these things that are going on. People who are trying to address climate in the climate crisis in an era of a lot of denial. People who are trying to be the peacemakers in these war-torn regions. People who are trying to seek solutions and trying to break us out of this sense of pessimism and doubt that we are, and the fact that there is nothing we can do.
Right.
We just have to have the intestinal fortitude, and possibly even in some ways to make some sacrifices, be strong enough to accept the fact that we can deal with making some sacrifices in order to change things for the better.
And that is implied in that idea there, that, it'll take something being given up to get somewhere. So card 3, why are our feelings justified? And bam!
Again?
The 3 of Swords shows up again.
Three-peat.
Yes, our feelings are justified because we know there is so much heartache and pain in the world. We have to find a way to push us towards healing.
We so need healing. Our feelings are justified because there is so much work to do. It does seem daunting and overwhelming, but we need to heal. We need to heal ourselves. We need to heal the planet. We need to heal our relations with others. So much work to do.
Right. Card 4, how do we turn the frown upside down? It's the Page of Cups. Reverse.
It's not going to come from irrational thinking. A lot of times when I see the Page of Cups reversed, I think of not so much illusion per se, but just people who maybe are letting their imaginations run away with them. Conspiracy theories and the like, denying science and the like. I think here that they allow their imaginations to run away with them. And so in order to turn this frown upside down, we have to find the truth that everybody can come to terms with. Everybody needs to come to terms with a certain truth in whatever situations are involved here.
And I think some of that also will have to go along with the idea of understanding our emotionalities towards the world as well as others. That we're all really all over the place.
The other thing we should think about with this card is empathy. We can't... how we turn this frown upside down is that we stop just thinking of ourselves, our own needs, and think about the needs of a bigger whole.
Bam.
Bam. Whoa. All right, world. Let's recap. So there's a lot of pessimism, doom and gloom right now. We know that. And it's making us all very weary and very unhappy. Right?
Mm-hmm. I agree. Can't say anything else. So we're dealing with this maybe by thinking that it's something we can escape from, or that's an illusion we can escape from. That may or may not be true, though.
I believe some of us have broke free and are trying to free the rest of us from our state of apathy or disinterest or pessimism in the situation, trying to get people more engaged and more involved. Engagement in life is what's necessary here, not feeling tied down by life, but
held
engaging
in prison,
or by these circumstances.
Yes. So then card 3, why are our feelings justified? Well, mostly the obvious, because we know there's so much pain going on here. Something has to give. Something has to start working on the healing.
Boy, there's a whole lot of stitches that are needed here. We really need to heal in a big way and in a lot of different ways. So it couldn't be a more apropos card in that position.
Swords are about the mental image, and you know what?
And we've got 2 of them.
That's a big part of this, because we could honestly say that people's thoughts are so skewed from other people's thoughts, and there's clearly something going on where there's clearly not just two sides, but there's clearly more factual stuff and then less factual stuff.
And how do we turn this frown upside down? By being more empathic and considering others' perspectives and points of view, by considering something greater than our own needs, the needs that we all share. For example, a planet that's healthy, number one. We need to think of nature as well. We need to throw that into the equation. And we also really need to not allow our imaginations to run crazy, like there's no way out of a situation. When we do hold some keys here, we could be opening doors.
So in a way, the Page of Cups is sort of a grounding experience too when it's reversed.
Indeed.
All right.
Deep readings today, guys.
Yeah,
Good
some of them
luck
were very deep, I'll
to us all. And I hope you enjoyed this unhappy hour. Despite the theme, we do think this is a very healthy process to work through things that may be bringing you down and trying to work your way through them.
Absolutely.
To come up with a happier ending. So good luck, everybody, and we'll see you again when the moon hits the next fourth quarter in about a month from now. Am I right? 3 to 4 weeks from now.
Yep.
And for another Unhappy Hour show. Take care, everybody. Bye for Bly and us.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.